Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Ohio.
Every day at the ballpark is a celebration, but at the Reds Hall of Fame, a special celebration on this day. We link the future and the past of Cincinnati Reds history. We go to the 1890s in John Lynch, Danny Dreesen, and Sean Casey, all honored today as they enter the Baseball Hall of Fame of the Cincinnati Reds. Dan Dreesen has gained applause. Sean Casey has already brought the house down. Yep, they're clapping their hands together. It's the Reds and the Twins. We link history on Fox Sports Ohio. What a day at Great American Ballpark. They're outside the ballpark celebrating baseball, celebrating Reds history. And inside the ballpark, the Twins and Reds are ready for Game 2 of this 3-game set in interleague baseball. It's the Reds and Twins on Fox Sports Ohio. Hi, hello, and welcome to Cincinnati, everyone. Along with the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley, I'm George Grant. What a day, Cowboy.
Oh, I tell you what, anytime that you see this going on where you're inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame, you know you have done something fabulous. And all three of those guys qualify.
We hope you enjoyed our pregame festivities with Jim Day and Jeff Pecoro herding you through what has been an exciting hour. There's a whole exciting weekend plan here. We'll be talking about that. Sean Casey will be joining us a little bit later on. And Casey's excited to come to town to see Johnny Cueto pitch today.
Oh, I'm telling you, even listening to Sean Casey and just the passion that he puts into what he did when he played, that's what you get from Johnny Cueto every time out. He is a stopper. He is a true number one. The last 6 times he's been out there after a loss, the Reds have put a W on the board. That is a true number one. Last 2 seasons, he has the lowest ERA of either league. Not Verlander, not Kershaw. It's Johnny Cueto, and he's on the mound for the Reds today.
He's the ace. You got it. And, Cowboy, you hit the nail on the head. The Reds need a stopper. And who better to turn the ball over to than Johnny Be Good. Johnny Cueto gets the baseball. Next, it's the Reds and Twins on Fox Sports Ohio. In plumbing, heating and cooling, and drain cleaning. Here's Scott Demick with the latest.
Hello, everyone. I'm meteorologist Scott Demick. If you're heading out to Great American Ballpark this afternoon for the big game, first pitch temperature will be in the upper 80s. We'll be in the mid 80s for the 7th inning stretch. And as you head back to the cars this afternoon and this evening, temperatures will be falling through the 80s. Lots of sun from start to finish this afternoon and this evening. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, Scott. You give us great weather for a great weekend of baseball. And Cowboy, how about Scott Rowland? Big night last night.
Well, a big night last night, a big night in his first ball game with a couple of hits. The one thing about Scott Rowland that you can pretty much guarantee every time that he crosses the line, you're going to get every ounce of player inside of him.
Take a look at the numbers. Prior to his injury, 29 games and a 174 average. As Cowboy mentioned, he had 2 singles and a couple of RBI his first game back. And last night, a big night, and his average since returning in those 4 games, 333. He drilled the home run number 2 on the year, and 4 runs batted in as well. So Scott Rowland, is he rolling again? And can the Reds put some numbers on the board? Already Danny Dreesen has thrown out a first pitch. And the mayor returns to the Queen City. You know he's going to throw a strike. He had them on their feet. Next, Reds baseball. George Grant and the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley ready for baseball. Johnny Cueto has taken the mound with the speedy Denard Span stepping in to lead it off for the Twins, who won last night's game by a single run over the Reds. In tied at third is Scott Rowland, guarding against the possible bunt. Joey Votto's even with the bag down at first. Span in a 280, 3 homers, 19 knocked in. Denard last night had a bases loaded walk that tied the game in the 6th. He was 0 for 4 other than that. But the guy behind him, Ben Revere, had an outstanding night. 4 hits and a sacrifice fly. He was the difference in the ball game. Combine that with Ryan Doumit last night, who had a 4 for 4 night, including a double and a homer, and the Twins won game number 1 of the series. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You can guarantee there will be no easy stolen bases with Cueto on the mound.
That clips the outside corner for a strike. That's Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire. Mike Muchlinski is the first base umpire. Bob Davidson, the veteran, at second. He's the acting crew chief today. And Mark Lotto is the third base umpire. He takes over for Jerry Lane, who was taken to the hospital last night. We can't update you. We saw Jerry Lane before the game today. He arrived at the ballpark about 15 minutes before the game. His left eye, right below the eye, is bruised black and blue, and they believe he might have a little chip fracture on the tip of his nose, but other than that, he's okay. And he's said to pass on his thanks to everyone who called, family and friends, and sent their best wishes. He's doing all right, and that's good news, Cowboy.
Well, after taking the blow that he took last night, which would be almost the equivalent of standing next to someone and taking a baseball bat and swinging it as hard as you can and hitting him in the side of the head, I would say he has come leaps and bounds, and he's awfully blessed that he is in the shape that he's in.
They got everything out on the mound except that rosin bag, and on a day like this you need it, huh?
You've got to have it on a day like today if you want to hold on to that baseball.
No pine tar on that bag, is there?
No.
It's been a pine tar week in baseball.
Got that right.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And we'll go full 3-2 to the leadoff hitter, Denard Span.
You can see early that Johnny is going to use the changeup and the backdoor breaking ball to go with that fastball, especially with all these lefties in the lineup.
And another foul ball slash to the left side. Last night the Pirates were victorious over Detroit. They are scoreless this afternoon in the first inning. Pittsburgh now only a game back of the Reds in the Central. Another lengthy at bat for the top hitters in this lineup. 9th pitch of the at bat. This one sliced into left center. Who will get there? Cozart says he will, and he will. 1 away. Let's check your AXA Advisors starting lineup for Ron Gardenhire and the Twins. Denard Span, the leadoff hitter. Ben Revere, told you about the 4 hits from him last night. Joe Mauer's back in the lineup, coming off a collision with Ricky Weeks and a bruised thigh muscle. His first full game back. He pinch hit last night. Josh Willingham hits in the cleanup spot. Ryan Doman had 4 hits last night as well, and Brian Dunsing, the pitcher, bats in the 9th spot. That's your AXA Advisors starting lineup, and you said it in the open, Cowboy. Johnny Cueto's the man that Dusty wants on the mound today.
And he's also the one that the 25 other guys want out there, 24 other guys, I should say. I would imagine Johnny probably wants to be there as well. He considers himself the stopper, as do the rest of the members of this Reds club. When he steps onto the mound, they expect to win, and they expect to win big. That's a lot to put on the shoulders of a 26-year-old.
Yeah, there's some 26-year-olds that appear like 18-year-olds. There are some 26-year-olds that pitch like a 30-year-old. That's Johnny.
Well, that was a 2-0 breaking ball there, and he just dropped it over the plate like he was taking a snooze.
They got to hustle. They just do get Revere, who's got great speed. Now check your forward defensive alignment for the Reds. See how the play by Cozart. He came up with 2 fine plays last night. In the outfield, Todd Frazier will get the start in left. Heisey and Bruce in center. Drew Stubbs, second game of his rehab at Dayton, comes today. Scott Rowland, Cozart, Brandon Phillips, Votto across the infield, and Hannigan as usual catching Johnny Cueto. That's your forward defensive alignment. And here's Joe Mauer. Cowboy, you mentioned it yesterday, and it's so obvious when you look at this team that it is one team when you've got a healthy Joe Mauer and a healthy Morneau. You take them out of the lineup, it's a whole different look, and both of them have been injured. Mauer the latest to come back after not a DL stint but time away.
And it's difficult, I would imagine, for Ron Gardenhire to get them both in the lineup when he's having to play them both at first base.
In the American League, you can DH him, and most of the time, even if one has a gimpy leg, you can still get some at bats for him. Not here. In front of the plate, that's a fair ball. It's a fair ball, and they'll tag Mauer. Great job by Hannigan. It started foul, roll fair, and Cueto gets out of the first. Cozart will lead it off when we return. Being brought to you by the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By Cincinnati USA. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati USA. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Beautiful day at the ballpark. An exciting day at Great American Ballpark. A sellout crowd to watch the induction ceremonies on the field. Another great job by Hall of Famer Marty Brennaman to MC it, as Sean Casey and Danny Dreesen each wowed the crowd. And it's been great to see all those guys here for the last couple of days, and they will be here through tomorrow night for the Hall of Fame gala over at the Convention Center. And it's a pretty special weekend for Reds fans and for baseball fans in Cincinnati.
Nothing like it short of Cooperstown.
And for Casey, this was his Cooperstown today, wasn't it?
You got it.
Here's Cozart, down and low for a ball. Zach at 261, 7 homers and 15 knocked in on the season. Saw the numbers of late. He has had a pretty good month of June. Had an infield hit last night in 5 plate appearances and scored on the homer by Heisey.
Well, the Reds are facing a pitcher today in Brian Dunsing, who has not had a start this year. He's pitched 30 ball games out of the bullpen, and he has been a starter in the past. He's pitched out of the bullpen in the past. They feel like this is probably where he's going to be able to help the team the most in the long run. But it's awfully difficult to start in the middle of July and try to get things, or in the middle of June, and try to get things back going in the right direction and lengthen yourself innings wise.
1-2. Didn't you move to the rotation in June when you were a starter?
I did. I did actually in July.
Yeah. But I mean, they extended you, started in June. That's when you talked about it, and they extended you a couple of times before you actually had a start.
Yeah, and it was difficult. Pitching 4 or 5 innings was not that big of a deal. 6 innings, totally different story.
Hop to the right side. It will just be out of the outstretched efforts of Joe Mauer. Didn't miss it by much.
It's funny, George, that you remember that. As we see Joe Mauer, he gets to the rail. You can see him feeling for it with his glove, but just could not quite get far enough in there to snag it. Never takes his eye off the ball, just feeling for it with his hands as he got to the rail.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Same spot. This one may stay in play. Let's see. Second baseman Carroll over, and he'll haul it in. So 1 away. Cozart retired. Let's check your AT CIN Advisors starting lineup. Chris Heisey homered last night, his 2nd of the season. Joey Votto hits behind him. It'll be Brandon Phillips in the cleanup spot, followed by Jay Bruce. Scott Rowland had the homer last night in a big offensive evening. Todd Frazier inserted in left. Hannigan, as usual, catching Cueto, hits in the 8th spot. And Johnny will hit number 9. That's your AT CIN Advisors starting lineup.
As I was saying, George, it is no easy task to try to lengthen yourself out at this part of the season. And yes, I did do it, but I could not get past 5 innings. That's as far as I could go. You get to the 6th and you feel like you were run over by a truck. That's when the catcher comes out and says, "Where's your fastball?" It's over there somewhere. I've lost it.
Just by its very nature, it's difficult for a reliever to become a starter. There's a line shot, but right at Carroll, and there's 2 away. Heisey hit it right on the button. Check your 4 defensive alignment for the Twins. Josh Willingham is in left again. Denard Span, great speed, average or below average arm. Ben Revere in right, tremendous speed, and he'll charge balls easily. Dozier's been very impressive to us the last couple of days at short. Jamie Carroll, the veteran National Leaguers, at 2nd, and Mauer will alternate down at 1st. He's, of course, a trade catcher. And Ryan Doumit back behind the plate. Here's Joey. Votto at 363, 13 homers, and a total of 45 knocked in. Joey 0 for 3 and a walk last night. Now, you look back at those relievers that have become starters, and some who started as a starter and then they bumped into the bullpen had success. I mean, probably, you know, the greatest story going the other way is Dennis Eckersley.
Oh, yeah.
He was a starter and then went to the Hall of Fame. John Smoltz did both, of course, but they went from the starter to the reliever. Now, I don't know how you felt, but I think a lot of people in retrospect probably say that Danny Graves' career was forever damaged by trying to make a starter out of him from the bullpen.
I agree. I think it's just an awfully difficult task to try to go from pitching 1, 2 innings and preparing to pitch every day to trying to pitch 6 or 7 innings. It's almost impossible. You may be able to get by with it for a month, but sooner or later it's going to catch up to you. Your body just can't handle that workload.
Joey takes it off the right foot, the front foot, and he'll try to march it off, and home plate umpire Dan Molino will give him a little extra time to do that. Ooh, right off the top of the foot.
Looked like a fastball that he was trying to cut back to the inside corner, and Joey, of course, really gets inside the ball and tries to keep it fair. And I would think by starting a left-hander against this lineup for Ron Gardenhire, he would try to just run him out there as long as he can go and try to neutralize the 2 big lefties in the lineup. And hope that his offense can put some runs on the board before the Reds can.
They were successful in doing that last night, and of course you know the story. Joey is .333 against lefties. The other side of the story is Jay Bruce, only .262 against lefties on the season. That's ball 4. Votto will take the walk. So 2 out and a runner on. Here's Brandon. And here is probably the equation when the Reds won in 2010. Wherever you put Brandon Phillips, he was murder on left-handed pitching. And I think if you were look for something from him from here on out,
that would be it.
Yep.
And he has been swinging the bat much better as of late than he did early in the season. I think there was a lot of issues with the hamstring and really trying to protect that, and it took away some of his aggressiveness. But now it's all of that is behind him, and it's really time to put the numbers up.
Of all the statistics that you look at when you look at the Reds, the one that baffles me is the fact that Brandon's hitting $197 against lefties, through over $300 against righties. But here's a guy that usually hits $300 against left-handed pitchers.
He has always been the biggest key for the Reds against left-handed pitchers. He has always been the one that has been able to come up with the big hit. And a lot of that has to do with that type of swing that you see there. That's the swing that looks like he's trying to hit the ball into the upper deck in left field, whereas Phillips in the past has always been a right center field hitter against left-handed pitching. That's why you miss a pitch that's right down the heart of the plate. You pull off of it.
And Dunsing's ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, each of these pitchers, 2 lengthy at bats to start the game. This will be the 21st pitch of the first inning for Dunsing. Loop behind first with 2 away. Mauer will have it. The Reds get a walk. Nothing to show for it. Cueto back to the mound. He'll face Willingham.
Recognition of his career accomplishments and being a part of such an elite group is special. Special because the Cincinnati Reds are more than just a professional baseball team. They are a cornerstone in the history of the game of baseball itself.
Nice job, Curtly. This game storylines brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Part of the pregame ceremonies. Curtly Kinman accepting induction into the Reds Hall of Fame in honor of John Riley, the 1890s first baseman of the Reds. Danny Dreesen gave as you would expect, Cowboy, a short but very, very heartfelt delivery for Danny Dreesen, and as you expected, Sean Casey brought the house down.
Yeah, I think that Dreesen's speech was a little bit tempered because he was a little worried about the emotions.
Yep.
And didn't want to break down. And Sean Casey threw caution to the wind, as we knew he would.
You're right. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the 33-year-old left fielder Josh Willingham. Drill to center. That's a base hit. So leadoff hitter on in the second against Cueto. That'll bring up the third baseman, Trevor Plouffe, who comes in at 250 with 14 homers, 25 knocked in. This young man and Revere are the 2 guys that have a chance over the long haul, and Dozier at short, to make an imprint on this Twins team for the future.
Well, we saw what Revere could do yesterday. Let's hope we're not watching an instant replay this afternoon.
Ryan Domit on deck. Trevor steps out, checks the signs down at third.
This is the one thing that you have to be careful of with the first time out of the stretch for Johnny Cueto. You want to make sure that everything is smooth and the delivery is the same as far as release point as it is out of the windup. And you can see Ryan Hannigan nodding to him. You can see him pushing his hands down towards the ground to tell him just to slow down a little bit. Do not let the adrenaline control you. You must control the adrenaline.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, huh? Baby.
Ooh, I got him on the hand or the bat.
Looked like it hit the bat.
Yep. Might have got both, but fortunately for Cueto, he got some bat.
Well, you can see that movement of Cueto's ball. Watch this baby ride up and in, and it hits right off the edge of the bat. That's the one thing that has made Johnny the pitcher that he is now, and that is a dominant #1 pitcher in this National League or in baseball, because he pitches inside with a vengeance.
There are a lot of reasons why young pitchers don't pitch inside. It starts with aluminum bats at the youth level. But when you get to this level, why not? And why do you think people don't pitch effectively inside anymore?
I think a lot of it has to do with the dollar figures that go into the game today. And I think a lot of it has to do with how pitchers are taught to pitch at the collegiate and high school level. When you're pitching with an aluminum bat at the plate, there has been so many times in the past where the aluminum bats have the ball just jumps off of them. They are just now getting to the point where they're actually fair.
I know we've spent at USA Baseball 4 years studying the power of the aluminum bats and trying to get a bat that works for everybody, all of amateur baseball. And it's not been an easy process.
No, it has not. And that's one of the things that collegiate baseball and high school baseball all over the country continue to research.
Got one, got two, yes sirree. Strike them out, throw them out. That's what happens when you hold a runner too.
This is how quick you get the ball to the plate. You see Cueto bring the knee up, and really all he's doing is turning that front side, closing it, and then he brings the fastball to the plate. Elevated ever so slightly out right on the outside corner, and not only do you get the strikeout there, but you have a perfect pitch to throw to second base for Hannigan. And all of that was set up by the two pitches that were inside. One that was right on the end of the bat that was fouled off, and the other one followed it that was down and in on the pitch right afterwards.
Perfect mechanics from Hannigan. If you take a look at that again, you see, remember, this is a swing and a miss, so he can't get a jump on the pitch. I mean, his footwork exceptional. All you young catchers, take note. No balls, 2 strikes. Did Domit go? Yes, he did. Well, Domit had 4 hits last night, but not so far against Johnny Cueto. Still scoreless as we go to the bottom of 2. Time later in today's game. Oh, that sound. All brought to you by Miller Lite. Hey, Reds fans, if a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during today's game, Lisa Middendorf from Florence, Kentucky, a proud owner of a 2010 Sienna, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. It's a long shot. Joel Luckup, could you hit that with a golf ball and a driver? No? You could hit it with a driver, Cowboy. I know that.
No doubt about it. I could tear a hole through it.
There's Jay Bruce. 248, 16 homers, 46 knocked in for the Reds' left-handed swinger. Had his hot streak at the end of May. June has been a struggle. 213 for him. Rolls over on this one. Carroll has it, and there's one away. Great to have you with us. A little bit later on, we'll be joined by Sean Casey as he reflects on what is a special weekend for him. Case is here. He's got family and friends. His mom Joan, dad Jim are here. Sister coming in. The kids are here. Mandy and the kids are here. Some of his former teammates were fortunate downstairs. We had a chance to see Chris Reitsma, who came in from Canada. They live in Calgary. Dimitri Young. DY looks like half the man that he was. He looks tremendous. He's, after his health problems, he's back in great shape. His son Owen is playing in a tournament not far from here, so he's been able to come back for that. Here's Roland. Aaron Boone is in town as well. All in honor of Sean Casey.
And I would say for any player that has put on a Reds uniform to be inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame with the likes of Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench and Concepcion, Pete Rose, and I mean all of the guys that at least I watched when I was growing up. Dan Dreesen was one of them. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that. Matter of fact, I don't know that anything does.
Sean almost broke down 3 times during his speech today. I got to feel he'll double that in his speech tomorrow night at the gala.
Well, it just shows you the passion that the guy played with, but it also shows you how much this means to the individual players.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Scott Rowland.
Contrary to what some folks believe, you know, a lot of people think that players just play just for the money or just for the notoriety, and that's not the case. There's a lot more to it for a lot of us.
3-2 to Rowland, drill foul past Mark Berry, the third base coach for the Reds. As usual, Billy Hatcher down at first.
It's about winning, it's about pride, and it's about wearing the Cincinnati Red uniform the way that it's supposed to be worn, and that's in championship fashion.
That was a great moment during Casey's speech where he looked at the Reds dugout and said, when I played for the Reds, I never took it lightly when I put on a Cincinnati Reds uniform. Good message for everyone.
Amen.
2 ground balls, and Dunsing so far rolling through this lineup. 2 outs, and here's Todd Frazier. Hey, join us tomorrow for a pregame for the Reds for Sunglass Sunday. 100 people receive free sunglasses courtesy of Fox Sports Ohio and the Ohio Department of Public Safety, reminding you to buckle up. It's a guaranteed home run every trip, every time. Sunglass Sunday. Jesse, have you got one of those yet? You disappoint me, Jess. You're slowing down. Drilled. It's a base hit by Frazier. Line shot into left. Hops over a fastball, huh?
You watch Frazier come to the plate. The one thing that I love about watching Frazier hit the baseball, or when he takes his at-bats, he's looking for a pitch in a certain zone, and he's going to pull the trigger. If it's not there, he lets it ride. That pitch was right in the heart of the plate, and he smoked it right off the sweet part of the bat. If that ball is just a tad higher at home plate, it's in the seats.
Sean Casey said he never took it lightly to put on a Reds uniform, and it is somewhat apropos that Casey's number 21 now is on the back of Todd Frazier. Same kind of player, huh?
Does not take it lightly.
Here's Hannigan, 293, a homer and 7 knocked in. When the Reds were down to the final inning, trying to keep a rally alive, and their final out, Ryan Hannigan pinch hit last night, came up with maybe the best at bat of the night and wound up with a single to center.
You know, on that same line, George, about not taking it lightly when you wear the big league uniform. If you've been blessed by the Lord to have the talent to play at this level, why on earth would you ever take it easy? This is the greatest game in the world. Why would you ever back off and not play like a champion?
Knocked down. They got him at second. Another brilliant play by Brian Dozier. His third outstanding play the last 2 games. He robs Hannigan of a hit. Dozier's playing dandy at short. We're still scoreless as we're heading to the third. 21 took the field. He made it special for the fans, too. Sean Casey, over 300 hit it for his career. Sean Casey, one of the leaders of a Reds clubhouse. Sean Casey, who was the heart and soul of the Reds every time he put on a Reds uniform. Number 21 might have been born in Pittsburgh, but he grew up here in Cincinnati, and this is his weekend. For Sean Casey, he enters the Reds Hall of Fame today in ceremonies, just like they showered him at the old ballpark. They showered him at the new ballpark with some special moments, and Sean Casey joins us. Case, what a special weekend for you. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, Cowboy. I mean, it's so special. I love being back here. This is home for me, and having all these fans here today, and just being able to be out there on the field, going in with Dan Dreesen, John Riley. It's just, you know what? It's just neat being back, tell you the truth, George.
You said today when you were standing down there and you pointed into the dugout, I never took it lightly when I had this Reds uniform on. That is a big-time statement, my friend.
You know what, Cowboy? I never did. I'm sure that all the teams you played on, you never did, too. When you took the field for the Reds, I understood. I never took for granted I was in the big leagues and with the Cincinnati Reds.
There's no reason to.
I understood that this is a big deal. And,
play to win.
You play to win, and you represent a city. I always felt the way. I represent this city. Every time I take the field, I represent these people. And,
it's a battle every day,
It's a battle every day. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed every moment putting on that uniform for this city.
And you enjoyed your teammates. I know, Case, day in and day out, walking into that clubhouse, watching how you shared every win, every loss, the good times, the bad times. It was a special group.
It is. There's a lot of special groups, and there's a lot of great people that I played with. And, seeing Aaron Boone today, and the Chris Reitsmas and John Reedlings, Eddie Thomas, all these guys that, that I played with, Dimitri Young. I mean, it was just so cool because you know what? There's, the emotional wave of this game, and there's so many ups and downs.
No doubt.
It sometimes gets overwhelming, and, you really end up leaning on those guys in that clubhouse.
What did it feel like standing up there to the podium and looking out to a packed ballpark, and they're all cheering and yelling for you?
It was awesome. I was
ready to go, man.
Like, don't get choked up. And then I was like, got me. I couldn't talk. It was just so neat. I mean, to see all these people here, it was, and cheering, it was special. I tell you what, probably one of the coolest moments of my life. Like, for real.
You probably could have DH today if we were going to. They let Vados play first. You could have DH.
That'd be great. I think I can still throw a couple liners out there.
There you go.
That was great.
That moment, you could feel it welling up inside of you as you looked out there, and people yelling, people screaming for you, and the applause was deafening here at Great American Ballpark.
It was genuine, the genuine applause, and like I said, I think one of the biggest things for me was one of the biggest regrets I had was when I got traded here. I didn't have a chance to say bye to these people.
We never do. We never do. They just say see ya.
Yeah, and I think that always bothered me. And to be able to stand in front of this packed house today, with the Reds fans, and be able to say thank you for all the love that you showed my family, all the love they showed me on the field, and my teammates. That was cool for me. Nothing like getting a chance to appreciate the people that come out here and pay their good hard-earned money to come out here and watch us play.
Great people in this town.
Yeah. Oh, the best. The best.
Case, we were at the winter meetings. You and I talked on the phone a couple of times when it became obvious that something was going on.
Yeah.
And when I called you and told you it looked like it was going to happen, you were crying, I was crying on the phone. And I'll never forget what I said. I said, Case, the good news is, and we'll continue when we come back. We're going to talk about this play. Take a look at the monitor. See if you remember where this was.
Oh, yeah,
in Detroit. There's a story to be told about that when we come back. Yep.
Got him.
Cruz slices it. He's better leaving it. Look out. Here comes the run to the plate. Here comes the throw. What a throw and what a tag. Oh, baby.
What a call, George. Baby.
And let's set the stage for everybody at home that might have forgotten now. When we go extra innings in Detroit, and this was, let's see,
98.
98. It's how many years ago now? 14 years ago.
I'm good at math.
We go extra innings,
Right.
and the winning run's on third. There's one out. There's a pop-up, and everybody's saying, don't catch it, Casey. Don't catch it. You catch it, and you double them up at the plate.
You know, I honestly thought, I was like, I can make this play. And as I was running, I was like, I probably should let this drop. Then I was like, oh, I got it, though. Then I got it. I was like, I got to get up and throw it as quick as I can. And I threw a strike. That was probably one of the greatest plays I've ever made in my career. That was awesome.
Not only did you slide, but when the ball hit your glove, it was almost as though you were sliding and turning and throwing all in one motion. And it was a perfect throw.
I did, Cowboy. I hit the ground, bam, got out like I was a shortstop turning two or something.
Now let's take you behind the scenes. One of the greatest teammates at that time and a character on the team was Pete Harnett.
Yeah, well, back then in Detroit, in Old Tiger Stadium, the dugout was so small. So a lot of guys were up in the clubhouse because you just couldn't fit everyone in the dugout. So I make the play, and after the inning ends, Harnish comes running out from the clubhouse. And it's like, holy Moses, Case, did an athlete just jump into your body right there and make that play? Are you having an out-of-body experience? You said you wanted to know.
That was pretty neat. I'll never forget that play. I'll never forget your first triple. It was, you
remember that?
I remember it because
Get the oxygen.
Everybody always said that the most exciting 2 minutes of sports was the Derby, but that was your 2
Sean
minutes.
Casey triple. That's an exciting 2 minutes right there.
He just dropped a 2-minute triple on you.
I remember I had one legit triple. I hit one in the gap in Philly, and like they seemed like they were never getting the ball, so I just kept running. I'm like, oh, that's a legit triple. Usually the fast guys get. I was never known for my speed, though, George, as you know.
The one thing we always wanted to do was get you and Paul Konerko together and have a foot race. We didn't get it before he left town.
Yeah.
All I know is you could flat rake.
Hey,
it didn't matter how much
you know what,
ran,
Cowboy?
you
Thanks,
could
brother.
rake.
I used to tell guys, listen, you can't steal first.
That's right.
Either you can hit in this league or you can't.
There
If you
you
can't
go.
hit, you don't play. You can. A lot of guys can run.
Ain't no
You
stealing
better be able
first
to.
base.
Exactly. You can't steal first. So I've seen a lot of guys that win track meets never played up at the big leagues.
That's right. They wear short pants.
Cozart fly ball to right, 2 away, and here comes Chris Heisey. To finish where we started at the end of the last inning, Case, we're on the phone from the winter meetings, and it looks like the trade's going down, and we're both emotional. And I say to you, I said, Case, the one good thing is just think you're going back to Pittsburgh. You're going back to your hometown. And what did you say?
I said Cincinnati's my hometown. I really felt that way. It was, I grew up here. I feel like 23 years old coming here. Both my kids, Andrew and Jacob, were both born here. And, my wife and I always felt like, man, we always felt like this was home for us.
Hit pretty good by Heisey, but it'll stay in the park. Span has it. We'll continue to visit with Sean Casey after these messages.
anyone else. The most extended Reds highlights on the planet. It's Reds Live, presented by King's Honda. Jim Day with you, and you talked about the 2-minute triple of Sean Casey. How about the 2-inch vertical?
Come on,
After
Jim Day,
a walk-off home run. One of the, well, let's just say that he didn't sky like most guys do into home plate. It was a 2-inch vertical.
Hey, we invented the bounce, though. 99.
I know you did.
That's awesome.
And an offset to that case, one of my favorite stories about you, as this one looks like, nice diving play right there.
Great job by Frazier.
That boy Frazier wearing 21 proud right there, brother. I'd never make that play.
We talked about it earlier, Case. To give your number up, you're putting it on the back of a pretty good young man there.
Yeah, you know, I was joking around with Frazier when I came in after the ceremony. He's like, oh, man. He's like, I got big shoes to fill. Now I better do something good today. And so, hey, there you go. There's something good, Frazier. What a great guy he is, man. Toms River, New Jersey, just a great, a guy you want to be around and you know, makes you feel good about yourself.
JD, you got something else?
Yeah, George, one of my favorite things, you talked about inventing the bounce in '99. I remember players like Larkin and Griffey in later years that would take their batting helmet off when they would have a walk-off hit because Casey would hit them so hard that they said, Junior said, you almost gave him a concussion one time.
I did. I did. I wanted to get back at him for a couple of things. No. You know, hey, I used to get really excited and just let people have it. Jimmy, hopefully I get excited here soon. I'll slap you in the head, too.
I need it.
Bare hand. Oh, we got him.
Wow, what a play.
Brandon Phillips, the Gold Glover, with the golden hand there, Case.
I'll tell you what, this guy's special. You know, you see him go between the legs and do all that stuff. Listen, this guy is a special player right here. I mean, Brandon Phillips does such a great job. Look at this right here. Bare hand. Not many. You got to have a ton of confidence to make that play, to say, you know what, I'm gonna bare hand this ball and get rid of it in one motion. Only a few people in the league can do it. Brandon Phillips is one of maybe a small handful of guys.
You have to remember that ball has some serious top spin as well, and if you don't snag it with some strong hands, you don't get Revere.
Exactly.
Here's Joe Mauer. In case you fought through injuries, I mean, your shoulder injury, you had one after another.
Yeah.
Mauer's had to battle that too. Yeah,
he really has. I mean, it's been tough with Joe battling all the different injuries he's had, especially playing catcher too, where you get banged up a little bit more. But you know, you got to just fight through it and keep persevering through it till you get healthy, and then hopefully you can stay on top of your rehab where you stay strong and then you can stay on the field.
No balls, 2 strikes. We talked about '99. What was that year like for you?
Nah, man, special. Still, I think about '99 all the time. Not so many memories. You know, I think baseball is a game where it creates memories for everybody, players, fans included. I have so many memories from that '99 team. So many great friendships I made.
They don't go away.
Yeah, they don't, do they?
That's the part that you remember the most. The guys that you played with and the camaraderie that you had.
Yes. Yep. The guys you played with and all the things, you know, Cowboy, the flights after the games.
Yeah, people ask you about your stats or how many saves you had. You don't remember that. You just remember the times with the guys.
The guys, exactly. And if you ask guys, that's a nice piece of hitting right there. Looks like he got an inside fastball and shot it to left.
Going to try for 2. Here comes the throw. It'll be wide, and Mauer will have a double. So a 2-out double. You know what I remember? I mean, remember so many moments from '99. What I remember most, when it was all over, you sitting by your locker with tears coming down your face, and Barry Larkin with his arms around you.
Yeah, Lark was always kind of the guy, you know, really my go-to guy. He taught me so much about the game. But yeah, you know, I remember him saying, you know, we'll be back. You know, it's okay. And you know, we never did get back. And but I love Barry Larkin to death. And that was a tough night. I work with Al Leiter at MLB Network now. I still tell him I'm going to get him back one day.
Leiter was brilliant for the Mets in the 1-game playoff, beat the Reds. And for the Reds, it was difficult. The series in Milwaukee with the rain delay, the game didn't end until late on Sunday night. Flew to Cincinnati. And you knew that when you had to pitch Pete Harnisch on Sunday, you knew you were in trouble on Monday.
Trouble, yeah. Having to pitch Pete on Sunday hurt us. There's no doubt about it. Steve Parrish went out, did the best he could, but what is it? Alonso went deep that first inning, and yeah, that was a tough one because it was awesome. Because at Synergy there was full house, sold out crowd. It was just great atmosphere, but we just couldn't get anything going against Al Leiter. He had his cutter working all night. We really just couldn't get any base runners.
Strike one to Josh Willingham. You enjoying your work with MLB Network?
I really enjoy it. A lot of great guys there, a lot of fun. It gives me a chance to be home a lot too, which is great.
Staying in the game.
Yeah, it keeps you in the game. Keeps you in the game, and you know, keeps you around the guys, and it's great. I love it.
And you're coaching the kids.
And I'm coaching the kids. I'm first base coach. They think, you know, the one thing about today was great. My kids get to think I was a decent player because they think I stink. I don't even know if they know I played.
Nobody's talked more at first, and I remember the first time you talked with Mark McGwire. It was like it was Christmas morning.
Oh, it was so. I was in the middle of that race in '98. I just was like, it was like getting a front row interview, you know. I was like, hey, dude, you're great. How's your son? I don't even know your son, but how's he doing? I was like, this, you know, I was like, this is such a great thing that's happening. I'm pulling for you, you know. It was great stuff.
Who was the one guy that wouldn't talk down there?
Ricky Henderson was one. Craig Counsell never talked. He'd come down, hey, what's up, Counsell? Oh. He just really? At me. Yeah, Counsell's a great guy. Great guy. Yeah. But he just didn't talk.
He was just so
serious.
Into the game.
So into, I'm like, come on, man. We have 162 of these. You can't be that into it. Yeah. You know, every second, you can at least say hi. Milton Bradley wasn't a great talker first. He come to first. I'm like, hey, way to swing. He'd be like, they look at me like, I'm like, you have like 5 hits in the big league when I first met him.
What do you have to say to the fans that are sitting at home watching, Cage?
You know what? Listen, thank you. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you so much for all the people that are watching out there that came out here and when I was playing here for those 8 years. Thanks for being awesome. You know, if I could shake your hand and give you a hug, I would.
You probably have.
It makes a difference.
Yeah,
you probably have shaken most of the hands.
I probably have. The meet and greet today at the Hall of Fame was touching. Just those people coming by and saying they were big fans. It's just a great thing.
Makes a difference when people are at the ballpark. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
I know we did some games together last year, and you watched this team. What does this team need to do to get back to the postseason this year?
Well, man, I think you know, I think that Johnny Cueto obviously is a legit #1. I think you know, Latos and Homer Bailey are the keys there as far as those guys, you know, trying to fit into that rotation and really make it a top 3 powerhouse. I think that's what they're going to have to do. But they got a good ball club. They got to keep swinging it the way they've been swinging it. And, you know, watching what Joey Votto's been doing this year has been pretty impressive.
Swing and a miss. Cueto gets out of the jam. We'll be back with one more half inning with Sean Casey. DDD, defense. Frazier. Phillips, Gold Glove. Expert with us, Sean Casey here. Since 1933, who holds the Reds record for highest batting average in the first half of the season? Our AT&T trivia question. The guy at the plate, what a first half he's had, Casey.
Oh, man, it's been unbelievable. You know, it's special what he's doing. I think the one stat that I love is that he hasn't popped up to the infield all year long, and he's only done it 3 times in his whole career. Matt tells me he's letting the ball travel. He's making decisions late. That's why he walks so much. That's why he gets on base. That's why he consistently hits the ball hard.
He is dead set on wearing out that left center field gap. And if he does get a mistake, he pulls the ball out of the ballpark. He doesn't pull it foul. He pulls it out of the ballpark.
Oh. Yeah, it seems like he takes that pitch really the hard middle away, drives it to left, gets anything that's off speed, something that's in. Those are the ones he really crushes to right.
And when you're pitching to him and he starts fouling those balls over the third base dugout, you better look out because he's about to connect you.
Right. You know, it's amazing. You know, after the speech today, I'm heading down, heading into the tunnel, and you can hear, right before the game starts, whack, 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 and he's in there with. I think it was Jacoby or Mark Berry. He was in there, getting ready for the game. There's no secret why this guy's so good and why Bob Castellini ended up the money he gave him. You're going to give somebody that kind of money, it better be a guy that cares, that works, that gets after it day in and day out, that takes his job seriously, and that's Joey Votto to a T.
He studies not only the starting pitcher, he studies the guys out of the bullpen, and he watches what they do, not only with nobody on, but with runners on base.
I know, isn't that amazing?
So, because that's usually the point in time he's going to be at the plate when it's crush time.
You know, Case, you didn't always have the game-winning hit or the key hit, but if you look at the Reds' rallies when you played, either you started a rally with a walk, you kept the rally going with a hit-and-run base hit, or a productive out, moving a runner from second to third, or that key hit. So you don't always have to get the big hit, do you?
That's the thing. You got to keep the line moving. You got to find a way to get on base. You got to find a way to get runners over. You got to find a way to get a walk. Do something late in the game. It's just so important. When you get base runners, you can start getting that pitcher out of the stretch. It really changes everything. You start opening up holes. You got the hole over there on the right side. I mean, just so many things happen if you could just get on base.
Phillips, center field. Did he get all of it? Span back to the wall. Gonna be gone.
Wow. That almost hit one of our cameras up there.
Pretty good player right here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good investment right there with those two guys.
That's a great.
Yow.
There's your future right there. Votto, get on. Phillips hit him in, or vice versa. Look at that extension, though. You go back and look at this replay. Look at the extension Brandon Phillips gets right here. This is what you got to love about him. He gets such great bat speed, leverage on his backside, rotates. Watch his backside just rotate into full extension. Boom. Right through the baseball, drives it down to dead center. And that was loud.
That's the same pitch that he popped him up on last time up, and Phillips had to be sitting on it this go-round.
No doubt.
415 feet worth of homer. Phillips now in double figures with his 10th home run. Now 44 runs batted in, and Case 44 RBI for Phillips, 45 for Joey, 46 for Bruce. That's where this lineup has to produce.
Wow, in the middle of that lineup, that's where these guys, this is what you pay these guys the big bucks. You got Phillips, Bruce, and Votto. That's your run producers right there, and they're paid to drive in the runs, and they're driving them in.
You have a reliever on the mound who has been relieving a lot as of late. He's used to pitching guys one way, not changing as the game goes on. Well, he threw the same pitches to Votto. Votto takes them, gets the same walk. He threw the same pitches to Brandon Phillips. Well, this time Phillips didn't miss it, and he does the same thing to Jay Bruce. Bruce doesn't miss it this time either. He drills it into right field.
And why is that, Cowboy? What's the mentality there?
You have to get guys out a different way each time that they come to the plate. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to throw this guy a slider every time he comes to the plate, because you're going to adjust. Right. Are you not?
That's what I mean. It's like that chess match. Listen, I'm in my mind, I know how you pitched me the first time. I'm going back up there to see if you keep falling into those patterns. I'm looking for a guy to fall.
You're going to hurt me.
And then that's where I do my damage.
Exactly.
Here's Scott Rowland, who bounced out first time up. We're visiting with Sean Casey, inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame today, along with Dan Dreesen. In case as things, the baton was turning over, when Barry Larkin's career was coming to an end, I really had the feeling that you and Aaron Boone were in the position, you felt you were in the position to take over the clubhouse as the leaders, the good cop, bad cop. I mean, the two of you had the ear of the other players. The two of you understood how the game was played. The two of you cared about each other. So leadership is so important. The Reds had a somewhat of a void of leadership for a long time, and when this guy came back, it started again.
Oh, no doubt. You know, I always say, people would say, hey, you know, who would you pay to see play? I always say Scott Rowland, even when I was playing. This guy just plays the game right, leads by example. You know, even talking to Joey Votto, he says, I look up to Scott Rowland so much. This guy has taught me so much about the game and how to get better. You know, that's pretty impressive when you're talking about one of the best hitters in the game, you know, mentioning Scott Rowland. So, listen, you learn the game by watching this guy play.
Short lead for Bruce.
You know, it's funny, you get to this level and everybody is a pretty good player. Everybody has pretty good talent. But what separates the good players or average players from the great players is usually from the neck up. How you approach the game, how you plan, how you get yourself ready. And that's the one thing that Rowland has passed on to Joey Votto. And Votto was doing the same with Jay Bruce, trying to bring him in the same direction.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the separator is your mentality. Can you show up every day? Can you go pitch by pitch for 162? That's how you end up putting up big numbers. And I think that guy right there, Jay Bruce, when he starts to figure that out, that every pitch is so important, his talent is off the charts. And I think one day you'll see him hitting 300 and having big MVP numbers every year.
It's not just about game to game. It's about pitch to pitch. Don't give up an at-bat. Don't give up on a pitch. And that way you put those 300 numbers up, because that 2-out base hit that you get in the 9th inning when it's 14-2 may take you from 299 to 300.
Exactly. When you just want to mail in, you can't ever mail in an at-bat.
3-2, the runner going.
That's exactly what you said when you were standing on the podium.
Yeah.
Who was most instrumental for you in your career? I mean, it started with Frank Porco back in Pittsburgh, who helped you, then into the professional ranks. Who helped you the most?
You know, I mean, you mean as when I was in the big leagues or as I was coming up? You know, I'd say, you know, Jack McKeon was very influential in my career at the beginning. Just, you know, really believing in me when I had that eye injury and I struggled a little bit. He really just kept throwing me out there in the 3-hole, and I was like, this guy's seeing something I'm not seeing, you know, and it just gave me a lot of confidence to keep wanting to go out there.
Well, he knew you were a fighter, and he was going to bring that fighter out of you.
You know what, Cowboy, that's exactly it.
He kept running you. That's how Jack is.
And I felt weird being run out there because I'm looking at these guys, and I knew I wasn't hitting great, but he kept running me out there, and I was like, you know what? And then I started to hit, and he's like, I told you you're going to hit. And it was like, oh, man, you were right. And it was just, it really, you know, really made me understand.
Rises to the top.
Yeah.
And his son Casey signed you in Cleveland.
Yeah, Casey was huge. And Casey always told me when he went into the draft room in Cleveland, he said, well, they're going to say this guy can't run, this guy can't do this. He said, but he can hit. He can, the chart doesn't lie. The chart doesn't lie. You know, I ended up going to the second round of the Indians and blah because of Casey McKeon.
Well, Jay Bruce is getting his wind sprints today, huh?
Yeah, he is.
3-2 again, 9-pitch at bat, and Bruce is going to trek back to first.
It's all right. He lost 15 pounds this winter. He's got a little extra going.
That's right. That's right. You know, there's a lot of guys coming to this Hall of Fame induction, too, that, like Coach, my coach from high school, Coach Jerry Malarkey, was a great guy. Coach Atkins, Coach Ron Atkins from the University of Richmond, Coach Mark McQueen, Wayne Smith, Coach Bill Mosiello, the guy that was in the Cape Cod League.
Line drive right, heading to the corner. Bruce is around second, heading to third. They're going to send him. Barry will send him. He rounds third, coming to the plate. Here's the throw, not in time. Going to third will be Rowland. How about Scott Rowland? 2 hits his first game back, 3 hits and a homer last night, and this one drives in a run, and the Reds lead it 3-0.
Somebody's worn out on that mound.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Cowboy, you said at the beginning of the game, here's a reliever becoming a starter, and you can go 3, but when you get to 4 and 5 is when you hit the wall.
Get to 4 and 5, that your pitch count starts to get to a place that you're not used to being, and you're trying to do something that you're not used to doing.
Yeah, Scott Rowland does a great job right there of firing that ball right. Mark Berry does a great job. Jay Bruce does a great job of staying with Mark Berry. Instead of slowing down right there and maybe just think he's going to third, he stays with Mark Berry. Mark Berry makes a nice read in the corner and scores. Bruce, great job all around right there.
Don't assume that you're going to
be it for Dunsing. So while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. Time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. 33. Who holds the Reds record for highest batting average in the first half of the season? Got a guess, Case?
Joey Votto?
Well, you're close.
Hey, all right. How about that? 371.
that was that magic year.
That was a great year, 99. Jeez. You know, you look back at that and you keep hitting so good because you're trying to win ball games, really. At the
That's
end of
all.
the day.
That's why you hit good.
It had nothing about, like, hey, try to get your numbers up. You look at the end of the year, you were getting big hits because you're trying to win ball games.
Larkin and I had that conversation early when I first got here, how difficult it is to play if you're only playing for yourself. If you're playing for the other guys and for a championship, man, it's much easier to pitch and hit.
Yeah, it's so different.
Infield in. Here's Todd Frazier. Popped up right side. Rolling will go a third of the way down the line. Will not tag. Not deep enough.
Anthony Schwarzak is the new pitcher. 1-4 on the year with a 5.04 earned run average. He's had quite a few starts this year. He's trying to find a place somewhere on this pitching staff, whether in the bullpen or in the rotation.
Favorite moment as a Red, Case?
Favorite moment as a Red? Oh, man, so many great moments. You know, I don't know why I keep going back to that 99 team. I just love so many walk-off wins and all the great things that happened there. I would say the All-Star games, too, for me. You know, representing the Reds in 99 All-Star game, 2001, 2004, just, you know, knowing that you were representing that city.
Taking your camera, too. That was the best.
Yeah, the camera.
Hey, I saw your little boy in your lap in one of the pictures of the All-Star game. And I thought to myself, you know, that's got to be the greatest moment, because my kids weren't born in. I mean, they weren't old enough to even. I mean, you can't carry a diaper baby out there, you know.
Hey, Cowboy, it is so funny you said that. People ask me, you know, all the time, what was your favorite All-Star game, this and that. My favorite All-Star game was the year my son was old enough to bring him on. He was 2 years old. He's now 10, Andrew. And that was one of the greatest moments of my life, was having him on the field for that home run derby. And
those pictures, I saw those pictures. I mean, it just kind of put a lump in my throat, you know, because I mean, that to me, that's what it's all about. It's a kids game that big boys play, but it's still about the kids.
I tell my kids the other day, I said, you know what? I used to live for, after a game, a win, and bringing those kids in the clubhouse to hit you know, hit the cages or whatever, just run around with the other kids. I used to just live for that stuff, and those are some of the greatest memories I have.
One of the best things was everybody would wait for you to do your dance after a victory.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we had the Beer for My Horses in 2004, where, you know, we were saying that Toby Keith song. Mark's got all the footage, and we used to rally around, you know, get in a circle and play that song. And I made all the rookies learn the words, and everyone knew all the words of Beer for My Horses, and we used to sing it after every victory. It was just a cool tradition.
Do you bunt with Cueto here, first and third, one out?
No doubt.
Yeah.
On a hot day like this, and you've got 3 on the board, I want Cueto sitting in that dugout as soon as possible. I'm just going to tell you.
You covered the Reds with MLB Network. You did some games with us. It's been great to see his growth as a pitcher.
Oh, man, he's become special. You know, he's become one of the best pitchers in the game. You know, legit, like Cowboy and I were talking about before, a legit #1.
Johnny showing bunt again. That's a little low, and they've got Roland, and a good job to get the backhand. They had Roland picked off the bag, but with the third baseman in tight.
I think Johnny missed the squeeze. Oh. You see Roland full speed on the break, and Cueto takes it. It's a good thing that the third baseman, Pluff, was coming in at the same time with Roland. Otherwise, he'd have been a dead duck.
Roland does a great. That's tough to do right there, Cowboy. You're dead sprinting on the squeeze, and then to realize it's gone haywire.
You notice he got right back in the line, so that if the throw did come right down the line, it would have hit Roland in the back. That was a good veteran move by Roland. Now the catcher doesn't know where to look. He looks like John Belushi up there jumping around. Should I stay or should I go now?
Hey, Cowboy. You know, everyone looks at you, always look at the pitchers and say, oh, this guy's got to get the bunt down. Talk about bunting. You know, it's not as easy as it looks sometimes.
It is not, but I'm telling you, if you bunt in repetition, if you practice this, you can do it. It is not a difficult issue. You just bunt the top half of the ball.
Well, I never practiced it, so it always looked hard to me.
That's the part that I think a lot of guys get confused at, is that you get a certain way that you bunt, and you practice that same way all the time, and don't take it for granted. You have to pretend as though it's game time when you're practicing bunting, just like you did when you were hitting.
Yep.
Johnny and of course Bronson Arroyo have been two of the best for the Reds the last couple of years, and you see the numbers for Cueto this year. They leave it on with 2 strikes, 2 balls, 2 strikes, show and bunt. That's wide. And in case you talked about Jack McKeon believing in you. In a situation like this, he wouldn't have you bunt. He'd hit and run with you at the plate.
Oh, yeah. Well, with me, he'd hit and run. I did bunt 4 times at Jack McKeon. I popped 2 up to the catcher, and I hit 2 rockets back to the pitcher, turned into double play balls. He's like, all right, don't ever bunt again.
Yeah, well, he knew that you would make contact.
Yeah.
There we go.
Roland's going to try to come home, and he does.
Pitcher never checked him.
They picked the pocket of Schwartz.
He never looked to third, didn't even turn around.
So Johnny does get credit for the squeeze in a roundabout way.
He bunts it in a perfect spot, because that way Schwartz, when he picks up the ball, he's looking at first base, and he fooled the catcher as well. The catcher was pointing to first as well.
Well, what a heads-up play by Scotty Rowland right there.
He fooled Doman and the pitcher.
Well, he reads Swarzak, and as soon as he sees him go to the flip, too. He doesn't get it. He all of a sudden goes to the underhand flip. Rowland says, oh, you're going to underhand flip it over there? I definitely can.
See you later.
You don't have to be always speedy to be a great base runner, and Scott Rowland is. Second out, Cueto gets the job done, so an insurance run out at second. That's in tight to Cozart. You know, you talk about a lot of things. We joke about your speed, Case, and I'll say this. I've said this before to a lot of baseball people. You know you weren't the fastest, but nobody in my career with the Reds had a better secondary lead off second base than you. You worked every single pitch to get as far off as you could.
I did work because I had to work, and I worked to get off the base and make sure I gave Mark Berry a chance to score me.
Case, thanks for spending some time with us on a
Georgie,
big day.
you're awesome, man. Cowboy, thanks a lot, big man. Great seeing you, brother.
Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks a lot.
Fun tomorrow night.
All right, well, that sounds good. Thanks, Georgie.
Back with me.
Give it to me.
Thank you, Fame.
There's Marty.
To you by JTM Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. Buy your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers available now, visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Well, Sean Casey's gotten the Reds rolling. A productive inning for Cincinnati. 4 runs, 4 hits for the Reds, no runs, 2 hits for the Twins as Johnny Cueto goes back to work. as we head to the top of inning number 5.
Well, how fun was it talking
Is
to
that
him?
great? Is that great,
man.
Cowboy?
That just, that brings back so many memories for me. That's how the locker room is.
When he's in it, especially. Huh?
Slapping each other on the back, giving high fives, and just enjoying life. And today, the Reds are enjoying life.
4 runs in the 4th, and the Reds lead it 4-0. And it's just so great to see the adulation that the fans have for KC, sellout crowd here at Great American Ballpark, the love showered down on him in the pregame ceremony, and return. There are some players who excite us by what they do on the field. He's one who has excited us on the field, but also made us feel so warm and comfortable off the field too.
Well, he's just always been part of the fans element of the game, whether it be signing autographs or making appearances. He's always been willing to step out there, and if the Reds had the Caravan back then, I'm sure that he would have been just like Brandon Phillips is, heading it up.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Down to 3rd, but foul again.
I will say this, George, that last run that Roland scored in that kind of semi-bunt squeeze, not watching the runner at 3rd, all of that, that 4th run is oftentimes big, big, big when it comes to winning a game.
Yeah, you talk about slam distance, right?
Yes, sirree.
Now
the Reds can just think about adding on, just getting another run here, another run there.
Don't forget tonight's Ohio Lottery Powerball jackpot is up again. $60 million. Drawings at 11 o'clock tonight. JD, did you get your tickets today? Not yet, huh? You'll be out later to get it. 2-2 again. Swing and a miss. Johnny Cueto. 5 strikeouts on the afternoon.
And that's the other thing about that 4th run, George, is it really allows Cueto to just go after the hitters. It makes him even more aggressive. Not that he's not already aggressive, but he doesn't have to be perfect now. And sometimes in this ballpark you feel like you have to be perfect. And right now for Cueto, all he's got to do is be aggressive in the strike zone and make his pitches and make these guys swing the bat on the Twin side.
Reds will overshift to the right side against Ryan Domit, the switch hitter. He struck out first time up after getting 4 hits last night.
Well, the first time around, Johnny fed him a lot of changeups and then finished him with that high fastball.
Talked about it last night. He's a dead red fastball hitter, and around the batting cage today I said to him, well, welcome back. You're still ripping the Reds, aren't you? He said, well, I see a fastball, I hit it. Yeah. He's not one of many words, but that's basically what he said.
Well, he has not seen a fastball in this at bat, not yet.
Difference. 3 balls, 1 strike. Hey, come for the Reds, stay for more fun. Visit Mighty Mike at Newport Aquarium, biggest gator in the country. Make it a weekend getaway and book your stay at Cincinnati, USA. Looped into center. That'll drop for a hit. Have you taken the kids to Mighty Mike?
Have not yet.
Next time Ash comes in,
we will make that trip.
By the way, was she listening last night when you ran down your phone scenario?
I did, or she was. She said, you're exactly right. The BlackBerry plant would have to burn up before I change. She told me exactly what she was thinking about. She was laughing just like we were.
That's the best. That's the best.
You know, her and Mason and Elizabeth, they don't miss any games, especially when Daddy's on TV.
You know, you are showing me up, though. You know, I mean, Joanne tells me, she said, you know, I look like a farmer dressed next to you, for crying out loud.
Stop it.
But I am a farmer, so what difference does that make? One ball. Center field. Izzy starts in, but he'll track it down. 2 away. All we got to do is get you a sponsorship, you know.
What, on the clothing end?
Yeah. Yeah. You know?
Well, I've got a sponsor. I just like him.
Okay. You could put a little label on the lapel.
Yeah.
2 away, and here comes Jamie Carroll. Flied to right first time up.
Not sure too many Cowboys wear this outfit, though.
Well, the Cowboy is inside.
There you go.
You know, and you know, it's like, you know, Sean Casey is Sean Casey inside. You're the Cowboy inside.
It's the heart.
Exactly.
It's in the heart. Cowboy in the heart.
Except you do look strange with those cowboy boots with that suit.
Yeah.
I haven't seen your old boots.
Well, I've been on. I don't wear them when I'm on TV.
Giant days, you wore them all the time.
I did.
You had them sitting in your clubhouse locker.
Yeah. Booney would come by and steal them every once in a while when he needed a couple of hits. Brett Boone, that is.
Yep. And nobody ever touched them. I mean, there have been cowboy boots that have been ditched, but nobody ever touched yours.
No.
2 balls, 1 strike to Carroll. Did you go to the place in Houston where everybody went to get the boots?
I have been there, and I've actually bought some that were here. Out in Batavia, as a matter of fact. But you know, Tony Lama, at this day and age, they'll make boots and send them just about to anywhere in the country.
Cueto from the stretch, 3-1. On the corner, nice pitch.
Same thing with those Meslin Italian shoes. They'll send them anywhere you want them.
Were you there for the new Michael Jordan shoes that came out this past week?
You know,
at 300?
I was not. I did not want to wait in line, and I'm not a big high top guy anyway.
Just missing ball 4, so a single and a walk, 2 on. Back to the bottom of the order. Schwartzak, the pitcher, will come to the plate. And here with 2 outs, possibility of a bunt, you would say, is erased, although with American League teams, you never know.
Yeah.
You know, managers tell the guys, just don't get hurt.
Well, right now you just want to get Johnny back in the groove of getting the ball in the strike zone and down. He started to elevate the ball a little bit. You don't want to have that.
Take care of business at 93.
Yeah.
The first swing told him that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Same thing?
I would imagine right there. Good
Yep. Base hit and a walk. Couple stranded. Reds still lead it. We're going to the 5th. on your Reds when they take on the Cardinals. Stick around after the game for the Brandon Phillips postgame fireworks jam featuring a soundtrack of BP's favorite hits. Thanks to PNC Bank. For tickets to see your Reds and Cardinals on Friday, July 13th, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com today. 4 runs, 4 hits for the Reds. All of the Cincinnati scoring came in the 4th inning. A walk to Votto, a homer by Brandon Phillips. His 10th made it 2-0. A 415-foot shot to center. Jay Bruce followed with a single. Roland doubled him home to make it 3-0. And then with Johnny Cueto sacrificing with runners at first and third, he sacrificed the runner to second, Hannigan. But while they threw to first, alertly Scott Rolen scored from third. There's your 4 runs. Reds lead at 4-0.
It is definitely a bullpen day for the Minnesota Twins. When you start a guy that does not have a start on the year, that would signify a bullpen day. As Brian Dunsing started, and now Swarzak in the ball game, and I would imagine he'll go as far as he can go, and then we'll see another guy out of the pen.
Popped up left side. It'll hit the top of the dugout. No balls, 2 strikes.
You've got quite a few guys on this staff. I think this is their 10th different starting pitcher that they have used for the Twins, and we're not even at the halfway point. Reds have used 5.
One of only 2 teams in Major League Baseball that have only used 5 teams through the first 3 months of the year. Heisey retired. Another look.
Pretty good breaking ball here. Started up high. I think Heisey was thinking fastball and just got a little out in front of it.
There's Joey. 2 walks. In fact, Votto started the rally with a walk, and we were talking about it with Sean Casey. You don't always have to have the big hit, and in Joey's case, he started the Reds rally in the 4th, taking a walk.
And that happens more times than not when it comes to Joey Votto. Everyone is so careful with Votto at the plate.
Left field, pretty good. Back goes Willingham at the wall, and he'll haul it in.
That's why. They start Joey in the Mazda pitch by pitch sequence with a fastball away, up and away. Then they try to come inside. Doesn't get the call. Now you just try to get it over. Well, Joey's not a guy you just try to get it over, and if not for one more foot, that baby's out of here. He got under that one just enough to stay in the park.
You saw the quick, concise swing, and you talked about it earlier regarding Brandon Phillips. When he's going his best, he's thinking center field to right center. When Joey's going his best, he's thinking center to left center.
Exactly. And what that allows you to do is stay on 2 pitches that are out over the plate, the fastball and the breaking ball. And if you do happen to get a ball that's on the inside part of the plate, you can either inside out it or you rely on your hips and your hands to turn on it. A lot of it, George, is just thought process. It's not any body movement. It's not anything else extra that you do. It's just in your mind, you're thinking about driving the ball the other way. That way you're aware of that pitch that's out over the plate instead of just thinking everything's going to be inside, because you know and I know everything is not inside.
Brandon popped to third to first time up, and then hit a 415-foot homer in the 4th to make it 2-0 Reds. Homer number 10 for Phillips. Not this time. He freezes him with a breaking ball. Phillips doesn't like the call, but 2 strikeouts in the inning. The Reds go 1-2-3. Top of the order due up.
authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
There's a smiling side of the scoreboard so far for the Reds. 4 runs, 4 hits. The big scoring hits, a 2-run homer from Brandon Phillips, a run scoring double from Roland, and then an alert base running play by Scott produced the 4th run. Reds lead it 4-0 as we head to the top of the 6th. Denard Span to lead it off, and Roland planted 3 steps in front of the bag at third, guarding against a possible bunt with this guy again. Span and Revere, both good bunters, great speed. 2 balls, no strikes so far today. Span a pop up to short, and another pop into short left center field that Frazier made a diving stop of. If you're just joining us, spectacular day at Great American Ballpark. The induction ceremonies for 3 great first basemen from the 1890s. John Riley, from the Big Red Machine era, Danny Dreesen, and of course from most recently the Reds' great Sean Casey. We visited with Dan Dreesen yesterday, and it was so great to spend some time with Case today, huh, Cowboy?
I tell you, it just brings back the game, George. And so many guys that you knew and that you played against, and the challenge of the game. It's hard to even talk about, because you know that it's not there for you anymore. It's for these guys now. But those memories don't ever get lost. They're always there.
So, Reed, I mean, it's a blessing to play this game, and Cowboy, you know it, and anybody that's been around the game, I mean, this is what we do is a blessing too. I mean, to stay around the game on the periphery of it and be a part of it still it's a great feeling.
And that's what Sean and I were talking about, how fortunate that we have been to still be around the game and still be part of the game, because it's still in your blood. And for those of us that are fortunate enough to get to play, you retire right in the middle of your best working years. I mean, when you retire at age 35 or 36, well, you're old as a baseball player, but you're young as a man, and you don't want to just stop your life because baseball is over. You want to continue to be a productive human being and continue to try to make a difference somewhere in somebody's life.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Denard Span. Popped up, back goes Cozart, calling, got it. Hey, hitting the road, we'll take Fox Sports Ohio's coverage of the Reds with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Reds out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Reds.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere.
That was a great comeback by Johnny Cueto there, being down in the count 2-0 and being able to throw both breaking ball and changeup. Being behind in the count for strikes allowed him to put away an awfully good hitter in Denard Span.
Here's Revere. 2 ground ball outs, one a brilliant play by Brandon Phillips, a 2-hopper behind the bag that Phillips barehanded and threw him out at first. And this is one of the speediest guys in baseball. By the way, while we talk about today's ceremonies, I want to say congratulations again to the Reds Hall of Famer Marty Brenham. He did such a great job emceeing the ceremonies on the field today. Of course, tomorrow's the great Hall of Fame gala. That's going to be a very special time, and we want to say congratulations to Marty too on his wedding this week. He and Amanda have tied the knot, and we wish him only the best, Cowboy.
You know, he always does such a professional job when it comes to being in front of thousands and thousands of people. Never once does he have a misstep or a word here or there that shouldn't be. Everything is almost as though he's written it out word for word, and you look at the paper in front of him and it's blank. He just knows how to do that job, and he has done it so well for so long.
One thing he could have done today was he could have borrowed a shirt from Chris. Line drive to left. right there is Frazier. He's got it. Of course, Marty had to dress up, so he had to wear a tie and a coat because he was on the field, but the crafty left-hander didn't. He looks pretty dapper there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got his Hawaiian shirt on, Morgan, right there.
I think he borrowed his shirt from Blyleven.
Yeah.
He got Bert's shirt.
You got that right.
By the way, Bert told us a great story this weekend, and he's one of the most enjoyable guys in all of baseball. And of course, he and Dusty go back a long way. I mean, Bert, everybody remembers him as a Minnesota pitcher, but he pitched for the Pirates during the We Are Family era. In fact, it was he and his family that started the We Are Family chant and the wives chant up in the stands. Well, when Dusty faced him, Dusty did have a homer in his career. When Dusty faced him the first time, he had him 0-2, and he had the best curveball of his generation. No doubt about it, the best curveball. And he threw a curveball to Dusty, right-hand curveball to a right-hand hitter. And Dusty hit the dirt. He collapsed, hit the dirt. And the umpire said strike 3, and Dusty bounced up and said, come on, that couldn't have been a strike. And he said, Dusty, you were laying on the ground praying for your life. You never saw it, so just keep quiet and go to the dugout.
Hey.
Ever happened to you?
I've been there. Dennis Martinez, Montreal, Canada. First 2 pitches, curveballs, started right at my head, and down I went. They were laughing in the dugout from the time the end of that at bat all the way until we got back to San Francisco. I thought you said you could hit, Brantley. I thought you were a shortstop.
Who got on you the worst?
Mike
Krukow. Kruk did it. Yep.
The announcer in San Francisco now, but he also taught me the most about pitching.
So he buckled you once or twice?
Well, he actually buckled me twice. The first time I went down on my back. The second time I went down on my knees. And the third time I just got so far in the back of the box that he didn't even have to throw. He could have just lobbed it up there, but he blistered a 93-mile-an-hour fastball right down the heart of the plate, and I ran back to the dugout. I didn't want any more part of that.
And Dennis still talking to you about that, I'm sure. What a great guy he was.
He was laughing at me with his glove over his face.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Dribble to the right side. Cueto scoops. Got it. Good job for Johnny B. Good. He is today. They've gotten only 3 hits off from Reds lead 4-0.
For the Reds and Cardinals series, July 13th through the 15th. On Saturday, July 14th, arrive early and be one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates and take home a Reds lawn flag, courtesy of Queen City Sausage. For tickets to see your Redlegs battle the St. Louis Cardinals Saturday, July 14th, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger location or Reds.com today.
All right, Cowboy, here's the question. Johnny Cueto pitching well today. The Cardinals, the wild card team last year, won the World Series. Milwaukee won the division last year. This year, the Pirates have been the most surprised team, and they're only a game behind the Reds. From here on, how do you see this race unfolding?
Well, the one thing that I know that will happen sooner or later, I believe that the Brewers will make some kind of run in this division.
Bruce grounds out, first out. Jay bounced to second first time up, single to right, scored on a rolling double, and bounces to second here in the sixth.
I think a lot of where you pick and how you pick depends on some of the moves that will be made. Everybody is still bunched together enough to where you can't count out any of the four teams that we just mentioned: Cardinals, Brewers, Pirates, or Reds. You can't count out any of those teams because we don't know what moves are still out there to be made. Now, yes, we do know that the Cardinals have had some major issues as far as starting pitching goes. Will they make a trade? Will they try to move some offense for some pitching help? They might do that. But there's also going to be a lot of other teams looking to do the same type of thing. And I think the one thing that is in the Reds' favor is being able to get some guys back that have not been able to be on the field of play, and one of them pitched in yesterday's ball game in Bill Bray, and another may be Nick Massett. And having those guys come back for you and have fresh arms toward the end of the season, I tell you, that's just like making a trade.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that the Reds really need to be able to have, is to get Nick Massett back and be healthy and have Bill Bray back throwing the ball the way that we're used to seeing Bill Bray throw it.
You know, the one thing that's becoming very clear, and in talking, we were up in Cleveland this past week talking to Mark Shapiro, the former general manager, now the president up there. Walt Jocketty has said the same thing. Terry Ryan has said the same thing as well, and that is with the extra wild card this year. By the time you got to June, heading into July, you knew who the buyers and sellers would be because teams had fallen out of the race. Right. But now with an extra wild card, teams that might be willing to make a trade in another year are going to wait until late July this year.
It may be a lot more movement after the July 31st deadline than what we've seen in the past, as Roland drops another one in there in right center field.
Well, the numbers don't lie. 2 hits his first game back, 3 hits and a homer yesterday, 2 more hits today. So far, so good.
Well, what we're seeing, George, is we're seeing Scott make a total adjustment with his swing. He is taking the fastball and dead set on driving it into the right center field gap. If it's a breaking ball or anything that he knows he can turn on, that's the ball that he'll pull out of the ballpark. But if it's got some velocity to it, he's going to shoot it right over the second baseman's head.
Here's Todd Frazier, singled and popped up 1 for 2. Look out.
And Roland has a short enough swing where you can't just sit there and pound him inside. If you do that, he's going to drop the head on you and hit the ball out of the ballpark. But as we talked about earlier, it's mindset as much as anything else.
Pop back, straight back, and up in the upper deck. No balls, 2 strikes. I mean, mechanics for a pitcher is always a work in progress. You find your mechanics, but then you lose it. You got to get them back. And it's the same thing for a hitter. Your approach and your feel at the plate will evolve, and an injury further complicates that.
And that's why you hear people describe this game of baseball as a game of repetition, because there is no day that goes by that you should not be practicing. The more ground balls you take, the better and softer your hands will become, and the more likely you are to not miss a routine ball. Same thing goes into hitting. The one thing that you can't really do is throw the ball every single day, but you can get enough body mechanics to get them right.
Line to right center, sink in. That's a base hit, cut off by Revere. Here comes a throw into second. Will not be in time, and a double for Todd Frazier. 2 hits for Frazier, and only the speed of Revere prevented that one from going to the wall in the run scoring.
Yeah, if he doesn't snag this ball with his backhand fashion, that ball does go all the way to the wall, and Rolen would have scored from first base. Well, when you talk about speed, that guy has got it. Todd Frazier safe at second, safe and secure. New York Life.
We love it.
How do we do that?
Frazier's doing number 21 proud on this day, just as Sean Casey said. Single and a double, second and third.
No way this is happening twice in one day. They're going to have to get a bigger helmet for one Ryan Hannigan. He is being intentionally walked for the second time today.
The difference here was first and third last time, and they had Cueto buddy. So what do you do this time?
You let him swing.
Johnny will surprise you. He got his extra base hit in New York.
He will.
That's his one for the year. Can he get another one?
Well, the one thing that I will say about Cueto as far as his hitting prowess is when you grow up in the Dominican, even if you're a pitcher, you hit all the time. That's just what you do as you grow up. You're not just one place you play another position. So I've seen Cueto taking batting practice, and he may not have the most beautiful of swings, but he does make contact.
Bases loaded, 1 out, and you would expect Cueto to be looking for the first thing straight that he sees here. Cozart on deck.
First thing straight and try to shoot it to right field.
Swarzak from the stretch. That is a foul ball. Johnny would have taken that as an out because it would have gotten a run home.
Well, it's amazing to me that Joe Mauer is playing in on the grass over there at first base. And I understand that they're trying to cut down the run at home plate. But if that ball is a little bit more to his left or right, he can't catch it, even with a dive.
Strike one to Cueto. Rolen, who singled off third. Frazier off second. Hannigan off first. Tardy on the fastball, 0-2. Well, you see the intensity of Cueto on the mound. You can see it here. He wants to deliver a hit at the plate.
Well, it's the competitor that is inside of Cueto that comes out in a moment like this. He wants to get the job done.
And he will. They get him at first, but a run scores. He'll get a high five at the dugout steps. And he gets it from the fans, too.
Now, there are many pitchers, George, that would have just sat up there and taken 3 strikes and let Cozart come to the plate because they would have been afraid of hitting into a double play and ruining the inning. It's a good job by Cueto.
Outstanding. So now second and third. There are 2 out there for Cozart with 2 outs. Now we always talk about his pitching, but with the sacrifice and the RBI last time up and this ground out, that's 2 RBI today.
Second time in his career he's gotten that.
Not bad, huh?
Sometimes it's just about making contact in the right situation and not striking out.
You don't always have to get a hit. Just put the ball in play.
Right. Put a little pressure on the defense. And it was obvious that Dozier wanted to come home with that ball. He just didn't have a play.
There's Cozart, popped up, flied to right, 0 for 2. Line drive, that will end the inning. But the Reds cash it in, single, double, intentional walk, and Johnny Cueto delivers an RBI. The Reds lead at 5-0. When they take on the Brewers Monday, don't miss Reds Racing Night presented by Kroger. Arrive early. Check out the National Traveling Kroger Fan Fest, one of the largest collections of NASCAR show cars, simulators, and fan attractions ever in the Ohio, Kentucky area. For tickets to Reds Racing Night on Monday, June 25th, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or reds.com/racing. That's all coming your way. Hey, don't forget, get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game with Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing on Fox Sports Ohio. Hope you were with us today. Full 1-hour pregame show with Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro. Kent Dreamweaver did a great job, didn't he, Cowboy? Just a tremendous preview to the festivities of today.
On the money.
For every game, we'll bring it to you. Tomorrow, we'll be on the air with our pregame show beginning at 12:30 with the game scheduled at 1. Mike Leake will go for his 3rd win against Scott Diamond. That got Willingham's shoulder, so he'll be hit by a pitch and march down to first. Leadoff hitter on in inning number 7.
Jose Arredondo warming up for the Reds in their bullpen.
You know, when they showed Johnny Cueto coming in after he ran down to first, I'm sure you saw it, Cowboy. Dusty Baker kind of leaned over and talked to him for a moment or two. You could see it on the shot of the dugout, and it wasn't just nice hit or whatever and how to hustle. I'm sure he's getting a temperature reading on this hot day. Yeah.
Make sure how he's doing. It is definitely one of the hotter days that we have had here, even though there is a slight breeze. It has been warm from the get-go. And when you're out there on the mound and you're having to cut it loose, it takes its toll.
Steps off the mound, gets a little rosin, takes a big deep breath, 1 ball and 1 strike, and steps back to the mound again.
You'd like to see Johnny get through 1 more inning here and then go to the bullpen.
He's handled Trevor Plouffe twice today, 2 strikeouts. You lose a game, who do you want? You want the guy that has been money in the bank for you, and you talked about it at the start of the day today, Cowboy. That's who they have out there.
Well, after 4 losses, you get Cueto on the mound. And the thing that it does is not only is it about Johnny Cueto and knowing that you're going to get a well-pitched game, but it changes the mindset of your regulars. You get back into the thought process of winning baseball. And obviously there are no guarantees on any day with anybody on the mound, but more times than not, when Cueto takes the mound, the Reds are putting W's on the board.
2-2. Got him 3 times. He's punched him out.
Another perfect breaking ball down and away from the third baseman. Watch the pitch here from Cueto. And this is where he is well over 100 pitches, and you can see where Hannigan is set up. Look at the spin on this breaking ball, and it just drops straight down. No break off the plate, just straight down. That Exmo replay is courtesy of Performance Honda.
Boy, that Exmo is beautiful, isn't it? Man.
It's amazing the way that the Exmo shows the spin of the baseball. You can almost, well, not almost, you can see the dot on the baseball from the backside as Cueto releases that slider. And that's what makes that ball go straight down instead of to the left or to the right. It just drops.
Here's Ryan Domet, 4 hits last night, 1 for 2 today.
And another backdoor breaking ball. Breaking balls and changeups his last time up. He got a hit off the end of the bat into center field.
The Exmo slow-mo of R.A. Dickey's knuckleball is unbelievable. I mean, have you ever seen a knuckleball like that in your career?
No, I haven't. Well, I take that back. I've seen Wakefield's but not in that slow-mo that Fox had. I haven't seen it in that. And I would imagine it is probably incredible.
And from watching him and observing him, the one thing he can do is throw that knuckleball. I mean, we've all seen the great ones, Charlie Huff, Necro, great knuckleball pitchers, but he throws it hard.
And that's the one thing that he has learned from both Wakefield and from Huff is how to do that, because there is an art to it, and it is artistry to be able to get that knuckleball where it does not spin and you can still put some velocity on it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Reds over shifting against Domet. They won't need it with a swing and a miss. Now is when it will get that much trickier, because the shadows in this 4 o'clock start to cross between home plate and the pitcher's mound.
Well, he finally gives Ryan Domet a fastball, but he gives it to him up and away. Domet wanted a fastball so bad that he chases the pitch out of the strike zone at 94 miles an hour. The only place that ball's going, if he hits it, is foul over there in the second deck, as that one is here.
8 strikeouts for Johnny Cueto. Here's Brian Dozier, bounced out, flied out.
Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting, healthier products for your menu. That's JTM.
How about those numbers, Cowboy?
Just tell Johnny you need him. With 1 more strikeout, he will reach a season high with 9. He's got 8 right now. Strikeouts.
Rhythmic chant wanting number 9. You can hear it. Sellout crowd, Great American Ballpark, here to honor Dan Dreesen and Sean Casey, who made speeches before the game. You see the 8 Ks on the facade of that third deck. They'd love to get number 9 and send Johnny to the shower here. Probably his last batter, last inning, as the bullpen is ready.
Book it.
Fans will tell you the story of Johnny Cueto today.
Fond memories of my time here in Cincinnati. Seeing my teammates, being in the stadium reminds me of how much fun we had and the love for the game. I played for a great organization and even met my wife in Cincinnati.
What a moment for Dan Dreesen and Sean Casey today. Great to see Dan. You know, we visited earlier with Jim Ferguson, who used to be the PR director here with the Reds and one of the best that ever held that position with any ball team. And in the early days, you could remember when, you know, almost everybody on that Reds team was they're great talkers. Everybody would talk. Dan hardly would say anything. That's a shot in the left, a base hit off the bat of Chris Heisey. So he starts the bottom of the 7th with a base hit. And Fergie was saying, you know, they used to prep him to, you know, on what to say after a game, and he'd give like 2-word answers, and that'd be it. It's so great to see how he's evolved, how comfortable he's been this weekend. You know, he wrote out his speech today because he was worried about his emotion, worried about, you know, everything that was rising.
A lot of people do that, and I can remember when I actually took over for you one time in Cooperstown at the Hall of Fame. I can't remember exactly why you didn't make it that day. I don't even remember. You probably do. But I remember thinking to myself, what in the world is Suter going to say today? And he was beat up by the time he got up there. Yeah. And I could only imagine.
Everybody that's ever gotten in, and Barry's going to go through the same thing. You know, it's going to be such a tremendous weekend at Cooperstown when he enters the Baseball Hall of Fame. It'll be a fantastic time for him, Lisa, the family, his mom and his dad. There's a bouncer down to second, 4 to 6 to 3, a twin killing, and Joey is retired. 2 away. And everybody will tell you, and we were talking with Bert Blyleven about it. Bert, of course, recently elected to the Hall of Fame, and you don't know what it's like till you stand there and the emotion hits you and you look out, you see your family and you see the people you played with, you see your coaches, you see your managers, you see your friends all looking at you and all enjoying that moment.
Well, the thing that I think that really gets a lot of guys is you don't ever think of yourself as being as good as other people think that you are. And to sit down there and you see Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench and the guys that we watched.
Brandon to left off the end of the bat, though. Willingham battling the sun, and he'll haul it in.
Nice play.
Great job by Josh Willingham. He battled the sun, hauled it in, and the Reds go 1-2-3 even with the hit. To the 8th we go. That's the highlight of a highlight day at Great American Ballpark. The Reds 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Johnny Cueto spectacular today. On a spectacular day at Great American Ballpark, he's allowed no runs, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. Johnny Cueto's day is done. It's over to the bullpen.
New pitcher for the Reds will be right-hander Jose Arredondo. He'll be on for the 32nd time. Arredondo 4-1 this year with an ERA of 2.05. So he is within reach of having an ERA under the 2 mark if he can put together a scoreless inning here. Only given up 16 hits in 30 2/3 innings.
Your report card on Johnny Cueto today.
Phenomenal.
Says it all.
Johnny Cueto continues to surprise me. He really did not have his best location with his fastball today, but he had a good changeup and a good breaking ball. And what amazes me about watching Johnny is he is the ultimate battling pitcher regardless of what he has on that given day. He may have to make something up in order to win the ball game, but he's going to will himself to victory.
6 times Johnny Cueto has come to the mound after a Reds defeat. 4 wins and 2 no decisions for him, but the team eventually won the game later. So when he's out there, good vibes.
Well, that would be 6-0 after a Reds loss.
Not bad. Jamie Carroll lashes it into the right field seats.
And what that does is it gives you confidence as a team that you're not going to go on an extended losing streak. And the Reds have lost 4 in a row, which is the most that they've been at any point this year. And the big man comes in and just says, that's it. We're done losing.
$41,750 sellout crowd here at Great American Ballpark today. 6th sellout of the year. And close to a sellout tomorrow. There still are a few tickets available. The Yale set for tomorrow night at the Convention Center is sold out. Check swing. Arredondo clips Devato, and there's one away. Don't forget tonight's Ohio Lottery Powerball jackpot worth $60 million. Drawings at 11 o'clock tonight. Here's Chris Parmalee, who will pinch hit. One of two left-handed hitters on the bench. Justin Morneau is still available. So Swarzak goes 4 innings, allows 3 hits and 1 run. Walked 2, the 2 intentional walks and 2 strikeouts. He picked up for Brian Dunsing, who pitched 3+ innings and allowed the 4 runs. All of those 4 runs for the Reds, scoring in the 4th inning. So here's Parmalee to pinch hit with 1 out in the 8th inning. Great to have you with us, George Grand and the Cowboy Jeff Brantley. To hopper down to Votto. Quick flip. 2 away. Time to say hi to the dancing dog. Denard Span off his bat, and guess what? Todd Frazier came up with a dandy, a diving catch in left field to rob Span of a potential hit. Our John Morrell hot dog play of the day. On a day where we honored number 21 Sean Casey, Todd Frazier has honored him by the way he's played the game. That catch, a couple of hits as well. And those guys are doing what you need to do at the ballpark. Stuff your face.
That is no easy catch, coming in straight forward with the dive. It's much easier to dive side to side than it is to dive straight in and try to time that ball as it comes down.
Usually it's the first 2 innings that are so difficult on the left side of the field, especially left field and center. That's a 7 o'clock start. But at this time of year, right after the summer solstice this past week, when the days are the longest, it'll be the last 2 innings where the sun will be the toughest after this 4 o'clock start today. Here's Revere. The good news is 0 for 3. He was all over the Reds last night, but the Reds have handled him today. You could hear the fans react, thinking strike 3.
Awfully close.
Don't forget, right after today's game, Jim Day, Jeff Pecora will wrap things up for us with our Reds Live post game up here in the booth. As usual, Joel Luckup helping us keep up to date on what's happening behind the scenes. Jesse Jackson trying to keep us out of trouble. Down in the truck, our producer Josh Hall. Tremendous effort today by everybody in the truck with the hour pregame show, everything that Kent Dreamweaver put together, and everybody in the truck. All the highlights that you saw from the tape room. You just saw the spin through the highlights from Matt Sigafus of what has been an exciting day pre and during the game. Roy Alford's our director. Lauren White giving us some great graphics. Our TD Anthony DeMarco. Jim Probe doing audio, and this is not an easy day to do audio. Most important thing, I don't think you needed a microphone to hear Casey today. You probably heard him at home.
He was fired up.
Oh, what a great day. Full count, 3-2. Center field hanging up there, and Heisey will get there. 1, 2, 3 for Arredondo. Bottom of 8 we go. Bruce will lead it off. Cincinnati's. At each Sunday home game, families can purchase up to 3 non-premium tickets at half price with the purchase of 1 full-price ticket in the same section. Plus, Sundays feature Cool Reds giveaway just for kids. Don't miss out on all the family fun on Sundays at the ballpark. Offer available in advance of game day only. Some restrictions apply. Visit reds.com/family for more details. Nissan drive of the game came in the 4th inning. Brandon Baboom, Cowboy.
Got the same pitch that got him out the first time up, and this time he made him pay. Long forward. Matt Capps is the new pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. Normally the closer, but not a closing situation today. Just a little work.
Ripped to right towards the corner, going back. It is off the top of the wall. Bruce around first, going to second. Revere finally tracks it down, and Jay will stop at second with a 2-base hit. For Bruce's second hit, 2 for 4. He didn't miss a homer by much.
That just shows you how quick the hands are of Jay Bruce on a fastball middle end. That was probably a ball, whether he swings or not, and he hits this baby right on the nose. The prototypical home run swing on a pitch like that, and Jay let it rip.
So a leadoff double for the Reds here in the 8th. Cincinnati leads at 5-0. 5-8-0 for the Reds. They've stranded 5. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for Minnesota. They've stranded 4. And here's Scott rolling 2 more hits today. A run scoring double in the 4th and a single that started a rally in the 6th. Rolling against Capps. 4 for 9 and 2 home runs. In fact, if you look at the Reds' numbers against Matt Capps, they are pretty impressive. Capps, of course, once the closer for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And on a number of occasions, a couple of times, and you've been there, Cowboy, he had to come in and pitch in non-save situations, and those were the days when his numbers were the worst against the Reds. Great competitor.
And there are some guys that, especially closers, that just don't perform well when they are used to pitching in those hot lights and there's no lights going on, and they have a tough time getting that adrenaline going.
They backed Capps off for a few days, had hoped to get him back for this weekend, and this is his first appearance in a while.
Speaking of adrenaline going, I had my adrenaline going yesterday when they brought those Penn Station subs up there. I knocked out a double myself.
Only 2? That's pretty good.
Appreciate that too.
They are good, huh?
Some kind of nice. You count on those every time. They're always going to be right on the money.
Kind of like Johnny Cueto.
You got it. 6-0.
That's a good. We get Johnny to do commercials for him, right?
He's 7-0 after today.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
And you can see what Roland is trying to do here with no outs. Even in a 5-0 ball game, he is dead set on trying to shoot the ball to the right side or up the middle to allow Jay Bruce to get to third base. Nobody out here, just trying to do a job.
Double and a walk, 2 on for the Reds. Here comes Todd Frazier. Capps now 28 years of age, native of Georgia, still lives down in Georgia. Came to the major leagues back in 2005 with the Buccos. Led the Pirates in saves for a couple of years running in 2007, 2008. Then on to Washington, the Nationals in 2010, traded to Minnesota in the middle of the season, spent last year with the Twins and saved 15. I mean, he was the comeback pitcher of the year in 2010 when he saved 26 with Washington.
Well, it appears right now that he's having some difficulty with the location with the breaking ball. And it's nothing more than just getting that right feel of the release point. Another breaking ball in the dirt. It was the same issue with Scott Rowland at the plate. And now it's turning into the same issue with Frazier there. You don't want to start it in the middle of the plate when you're not sure it's going to break, because that ends up being a BP home run ball. The best thing to do is to start it right on the outside corner and throw it as hard as you can and just make sure you're on top of it.
Down to third. Tricky hop. It'll get into left field. Around third. Coming to the plate is Bruce. He'll score. 6-0 Reds. What could have been 2 turns into a run for the Reds.
Trevor Plouffe was thinking more about a double play than he was about catching the baseball, and he stabbed at it instead of playing the baseball. When you're going backwards, George, you know this as well as anybody. Growing up as an infielder, when you're moving back, the ball is going to eat you up, and that's exactly what happened there.
Scored a straight error. The error on the third baseman makes it 6-0. No run batted in. So still nobody out, and the Reds have first and second. And you can, I mean, you can throw on the side all you want. This is the first game action that Matt Capps has had since the 15th of June. So you can say you're ready physically on the side in the bullpen, but this is his first game action since the 15th.
And you can tell that he's rusty with the breaking ball, and that's usually where you end up being rusty. That was a better release spot there. It looks as though he has the mechanical part and release point with his fastball. But the breaking ball most oftentimes is the money pitch.
Hannigan slices this one high in the air to center. Snared by Denard Span, and there's 2 away. Runaway, rather. And don't forget, the Columbus Crew is the hottest team in the MLS, and it'll only get hotter tonight when the Crew battle of fire in Chicago. Dwight Burgess and Duncan Houghton have all the action tonight, starting at 8:30 on the home of the Crew, Fox Sports Ohio. Ninth batter coming up, and with the pitcher due up, Arredondo, Miguel Cairo will pinch hit in the 9th spot.
Cairo, very similar to Bill Bray, caught the injury bug right out of spring training, and it really set them both back. When you come out of spring training and you get hurt, it's almost like you have to start over again. And starting over in midseason, boy, you talking about being behind the 8 ball.
In fact, his last at bat came against the Mets in that game that Dusty started Valdez and Cairo and the bench players to give him some at bats.
Trying to get him some at bats.
He knew that going to Cleveland, they weren't going to get many double switches or at bats at all there. Tony La Russa still calls Miguel Cairo one of his favorite players ever. And wherever you put him, he gave you something that would make your team better.
He's definitely a leader on this ball club and has meant a lot to especially some of the younger position players on this team. Just about approach and about how to carry yourself both on and off the field. It does. Appears Alfredo Simon is throwing down in the Reds pen. He may be coming on for the ninth.
Here's the 1-2. Pop foul and out of play. This is only the 50th at bat of the year for Cairo, and I always remember Whitey Herzog saying that his extra players, he thought it was his obligation to get, whether it was Jose Aquindo or Kenny Obergefell, that whole crew, 10 to 12 at bats a week, which meant a start, a couple of double switches, and a couple of pinch hit performances, so that by the time the year was over, you had at least a couple of hundred at bats.
Right.
In the air to center, Span is there, and the runners hold 2 away.
And you could see the swing there for Cairo. It was more of a defensive type at bat than it was an aggressive at bat, and that comes, the difference between aggressive and defensive is having those at bats. That way you feel comfortable at the plate.
And if you don't get the at bats to feel comfortable when crunch time comes and pressure comes, and that's the job of a manager. Dusty said it, the toughest thing for him with this group this year, with all the, not just the injuries, but trying to get somebody hot, is trying to find time for his bench players. Hasn't been easy.
No.
The one good thing is, now that you turn the page on interleague play, there'll be more opportunities from here on out.
Right.
There's the 1-ball delivery to Cozart. Zach is 0 for 3.
He's starting to get the feel for that slider now. That was a pretty good one right there, and it was a good one to Cairo to get him to pop up.
And I guess if you're, Ron Gardenhire, this is the place to put Matt Capps to try to get him back in the beam. They're going to need him back in the closer's role and get the feel back.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it may be a blessing in disguise for Matt Capps to not have had an easy inning here, because he's got to reach back a little bit and get some extension on the fastball and really get out there on the breaking ball to find it. And he did.
And 23 pitches in the inning for Capps, so he battles out of trouble. The error allows a run to score. 6-0 Reds. Last round up to the 9th. End of the summer as baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage at the Fall Classic. The biggest names on the biggest stage. It's the MLB All-Star Game. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 10th at 7:30 Eastern on Fox. And don't forget, right after your baseball here, we got something for you to do tonight. Saturday baseball night in America. Interleague play returns. Yankees head to Queens to take on the Mets in a showdown between crosstown rivals. Baseball night in America. Telecast presented by Budweiser, beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, only on Fox. Here are the numbers on a smiling scoreboard for the Reds. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Minnesota 0-3-1. If you joined us late, story has been two-sided. First for the Reds. In a scoreless game, they scored 4 in the 4th. Joey Votto walked. Brandon Phillips hit his 10th homer, 415 feet to straightaway center. Bruce singled, Roland doubled him in, and then Roland later scored on a sacrifice bunt and a smart base running play on his part. Reds added another run on a ground out by Cueto in the 6th and another on the error on the Todd Frazier ground ball in the 8th. They lead it 6-0. While all that was going on, Johnny Cueto has been brilliant. First, we'll tell you that Alfredo Simon comes in as the 3rd pitcher. Simon, 18th appearance of the season. He takes over for Arredondo, pitched a clean inning in the 8th inning. And Cowboy, for those that are tuning in late, catch us up on what Johnny Cueto did today.
Cueto did not have the normal blistering fastball as this is flying out to Jay Bruce in right field. But what he did do was use his breaking ball and changeup to really put together a season-high strikeout performance in a ball game where he didn't have his best stuff and was still able to go out and pitch shutout baseball, keep the Twins off the board, allowing the Reds to score in many different fashions. And you know, after you've lost 4 games in a row, that's what number ones do. They come out and they throw shutout baseball until you put runs on the board and you know the victory's at hand.
Big smile on his face, and he put a smile on Reds fans today. That's the story on the field as Joe Mauer steps in. Mauer bounced out, double to left, and bounced back to the pitcher. The story off the field in a pregame ceremony today. Sean Casey, Dan Dreesen, John Riley, 3 great first basemen in Reds history, all inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame. And as you might imagine, Danny Dreesen, a short to the point, great speech to draw the adulation of the fans here, and then Sean Casey brought the house down.
Fist pump and all.
Yep. Down to second. Brandon has it. 2 away.
Tell you what, Alfredo Simon, in his last 24 innings, he's only given up 3 earned runs. He's thrown the ball awfully well since coming over to the Reds. He got off to a little rocky start, but after that, he has been nailed. He's gotten a little comfortable being part of this Reds club, and he's been an integral part of this bullpen.
41,750, a sellout. They're on their feet. We'll let them take you through this hopefully final batter of the 9th inning as Josh Willingham steps in. A single, was out on a strike him out, throw him out double play, trying to steal. Struck out and then hit by a pitch in the 7th. 1 ball and 1 strike. By the way, one postscript. We did see Jerry Lane today. The umpire was hit by the head of that bat. He did show up just prior to the game, went into the umpire's room to see his umpiring buddies. Got a little bit of a black and blue mark on his left cheekbone. He's okay, though. They believe he has a broken tip of the nose where the helmet flew off. But other than that, he's doing okay. He'll take a few days off. But great news for those of you that were watching last night and saw Jerry get hit by that bat.
No doubt about it.
Take it over, 41,000 fans. Well, the Reds will celebrate in more ways than one on this day. Johnny Cueto, a season-high 9 strikeouts. He was brilliant on this day. Brandon Phillips, a big home run. On the field, they did the job. Off the field, Sean Casey, Danny Dreesen, inducted into the Hall of Fame. Cowboy, a special day today.
Well, it was a special day. When you're honoring your Hall of Famers, And the guys in that 3, 4, 5 spot, Votto, Phillips, and Bruce, they did their jobs today. And your number 1 pitcher, Johnny Cueto, flat slammed the door and shut them out in 7-inning fashion.
We'll be back with more Smiling Scoreboard on this day. Reds win at 6-0.